It's become quite universally known at this point that Bob Iger is by far the worst Disney CEO of all time, at least in my opinion, and I know a lot of you out there will agree with me on this, but we know that Bob Iger is clueless. He likes to lie to the general public. Regardless of what he says, he will say anything in order to make it appear like he is fully confident in everything up and coming for Disney, including the current status of the Haunted Mansion, as well as the Marvels, Wish, and yes, even Snow White 2024. And about that movie, Bob Iger has been going through a lot of trouble behind the scenes and even going on the record about this film, and it really spells doom for this up-and-coming live-action remake of Snow White and why it may very well halt a lot of the upcoming remakes that are actually still in the early development phase. Let's discuss. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now, we know that there is a constant shakeup right now happening between Bob Iger and the Disney board. We all know that the board gave him the benefit of the doubt with those upcoming movie releases. You know, Haunted Mansion, Marvel's, Snow White, as well as Wish, just for starters. And everything is failing so far. There's even a lot of conversations happening right now behind closed doors about delaying the Marvels from November of this year until early 2024, which could very well create a domino effect for all of their releases. Alright, we're talking about all of the Disney releases, the Marvel movies, etc., etc. However, on top of that, we know that Bob Iger has gotten himself into a lot of trouble. Now, given that he is dealing with endless heat for the upcoming Snow White film, he has been heading into full damage control for this movie. However, one major development happening behind the scenes in a recent meeting for both Snow White and the Marvels is that Bob Iger admitted to the Disney board that Snow White is an out-of-control mess and that they have no idea on how to market this thing or this movie. Iger is reportedly panicking behind the scenes on how to handle this film, since he is fully aware and discussed with the board that if this film is that big of a failure, that it will cut deep into the theme park attendance around the globe and lose momentum for the upcoming Disney remakes like Lilo and Stitch, Sword in the Stone, Sleeping Beauty, and yes, even Hunchback of Notre Dame, that are all in the works. Iger recently also delivered the following to the public by stating the following: "We here at Disney are looking forward to our upcoming films like the Marvels and Wish for the remainder of this year, and as for our 2024 releases, our long-awaited Snow White film is undergoing a new strategy on how we can make this one reach out to as many people as possible, which is an ongoing challenge for us here at Disney as we remodel our business approach for promoting this revolutionary film and figuring out how to properly turn this into a success for our customers." Now guys, let me pause here quick. Now, it just goes to show you that there's no confidence going into this movie based on what he's been talking about for Snow White behind the scenes with the Disney board and what he's saying here about this film. It's all about him meeting this challenge on how to promote this film, how to really make it reach out to the customers around the globe. But the next thing that we're going to discuss in just a second just goes to show you that he admits that this movie is going to be hot garbage, is the best way that I could really say this. Now, we know that Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot really doesn't know what's coming. At least Gal does, to a degree. We discussed this just yesterday about how she walked away from the Snow White prequel called Clementiana, which is the name of the evil queen. That actually is getting scrapped now because it really dismantled their whole plan of creating Snow White into a cinematic universe, which I think is ridiculous. They're trying to do the same exact thing right now with The Lion King, with Mufasa as a prequel, with Scar as a prequel as well, and expanding further upon that. I just think it's a little too crazy, to be honest, and the fact that they're trying to make these Disney remakes into cinematic universes is pretty extreme, let me just be honest, you know? So, the next thing here is this. Bob Iger goes on to elaborate further we are fully aware that this film is not going to be for everybody, as there will be a disconnect from the 1937 original that we initially promised would be an accurate live-action remake. Of course, over the years, those plans have shifted, and as we want to focus on diversity and making this attractive to everyone around the world, which will help us with our success for sure. This is an ongoing model that we are trying to figure out for ourselves, as we have been hitting some blocks along the way. But we can assure all our customers that this film will be the most diverse a Disney remake yet, and we couldn't be more proud about the release that we are shooting for the stars. We ask for everyone to be patient as we work on our approach to debut our first look at our most important film yet in years. Now again, the fact that they are labeling this as their most important film just goes to show you that they do acknowledge the fact that this is where Disney all started for animated movies. It all dates back to 1937, right? And the fact that he admits that their model changed for this movie, where they did initially promise that it was going to be an accurate representation of the 37 original, and how that all transformed over the years into making it nothing more than a reimagining, much like Snow White and the Huntsman, right? And we all know how that performed. When you look at this scenario, the fact that he says it's going to be the most diverse film yet, and they're trying to figure out how to really promote this film because they're hitting so many roadblocks, this translates to they have no idea what to do with this movie. They have no idea what to do with the trailer. They have no idea how to present this at any of their upcoming events. And you know what? I think that they just have to cancel out this movie altogether. There's no other solution. They gotta really backgirl the thing. I've said this way too many times, but it's true. Look, I think that it was really, a blessing in disguise for Brendan Fraser. I mean, sure, it would have been a big movie for him in the cinematic sense, but he really saved his momentum for his return as an actor, because he's got, the next Martin Scorsese film that he's in, up and coming with Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, that's going to be his real comeback. So, looking at this is not only going to tarnish the careers of Gal and also Rachel Zegler, because she's only an up-and-coming actress. She's been in just a handful of movies now, and this most certainly, I think, is going to tarnish her up-and-coming career. There's no doubt about it. So, Bob Iger, once again, he is a clueless CEO. He doesn't want to admit to any kind of failure. He will admit that they have challenges, or that they're hitting roadblocks, but they won't really mark for any kind of solution. And we talked about how they greenlit this plan to reshoot many big portions of this movie and re-edit the entire film. It's not going to save it. It's not going to salvage the movie. It's just going to make things worse, in my opinion. And you can't really dissect a movie like this and put the pieces back together again. You just can't. So I think it's going to be an interesting year next year for 2024, especially how this may very well create that domino effect for the upcoming live-action remakes. Yes, guys, by the way, there is a Hunchback of Notre Dame remake in the works, as well as Sleeping Beauty, as well as Lilo and Stitch, which, by the way, hit a little bit of a hiatus on production, not just because of the strikes, but also with the development struggles that they're having right now. So that's another interesting, development ongoing there. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.